What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Kwik Trip 250 Top 5 DFS Picks video for Sunday, July 3rd at Road America, our third road course race of the 2022 NASCAR season. And as always, I'm your host, Chris Pennell. You can find me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16, and this video is presented by Prize Picks. In today's video, we are going over general track strategy, how to approach the slate from a DFS perspective, and my top 5 favorite plays on the slate. Please keep in mind this video is being recorded pre-practice and qualifying, so some of my thoughts and opinions on these drivers could end up changing throughout the weekend. So making sure you're staying updated what happens on the track on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be very beneficial to you in creating fantasy NASCAR lineups this weekend. And if you want that up-to-date info analysis, you can find me and Jason on the Stokastic Live Before Lock show, breaking down the entire slate, answering any questions you may end up having. And as far as how we should approach this slate from a DFS perspective, like I mentioned earlier, we have a road course this weekend. So we're going to be making left and right turns, and road courses typically present a quite unique strategy compared to most tracks. Most tracks were in the hundreds of amount of laps. This weekend, only around 60. So when you do the math of 0.7 dominator points per the laps that we have, we don't have many dominator points this weekend, so I will not be building any dominator groups as far as using Fantasy Cruncher this weekend. Not really worried about lap leaders as well. Yes, if you have the main lap leader in your lineup, that'll be quite beneficial to you, but for the most part, you are creating lineups based off of where you think drivers will finish or massive amounts of place differential that they could potentially offer after qualifying. So mainly for me, I'm just looking at how drivers have performed at road courses in general and the two road course races that we've been at so far this year, because they've been in the next gen car. And we've seen some drivers that have been a lot better than next gen car road courses than they were in the Gen 6 car in previous seasons. So it's something that I'm definitely keeping in mind this weekend. So getting into the picks, we'll start with a cheap driver here at number 5, and we have Chris Buescher, $6,300 on DraftKings, up to $7,000 over on FanDuel. But as far as the cheap drivers are concerned, in the 6K range over on DraftKings, he does currently have the best odds to win this race amongst those drivers. And he's been pretty consistent at them in recent years. Actually, if you're looking at the past 9 races at road courses, he's finished in the top 28 out of the last 9 times. And he's been very fast at them so far this year. Was really fast at Sonoma a couple weeks ago, actually really fast as far as the entire track. Started near the front, and it was hard to pass, but he was able to hold his own and stay up near the front just about the entire time. So at this price point for Chris Buescher, no matter where he starts, I think he'll end up being a very solid DFS play because he has top 5 upside at road courses this year. And moving on to number 4, we have Daniel Suarez, $7,700 on DraftKings, but all the way up to $11,500 over on FanDuel. So a much better play over on DraftKings, at least as of right now. That massive price point will keep him lower owned on FanDuel no matter where he starts, but he's the most recent winner at a road course. He won the last one at Sonoma, and the Trackhouse cars have been exceptionally fast at road courses so far this year. Didn't quite have the finish at Coda early in the season, but early on he was the best car and was able to lead some laps. So at this price point, I think he's severely underpriced over on DraftKings FanDuel. They definitely beefed him up quite a bit, because if you're looking at the odds to win the race, they're on par with guys like Christopher Bell and Austin Cindric, who you might hear from later on in this video. But Suarez and Chastain have been dominant at the road courses this year as far as speed is concerned, and I love the price point on DraftKings from Suarez, so I'm definitely willing to bank on that. And I think that's going to lead to some higher ownership, but as long as he's in a good spot and he shows some speed in practice, I'm willing to eat it. And moving on to number 3, we have Austin Cindric, $8,500 on DraftKings, up to $10,500 over on FanDuel. He has similar odds to win this race as Daniel Suarez, but the past 3 road course races for Cindric, he's finished 5th at Sonoma, 8th at Coda, then 9th at the Indy road course last year. Before that, he did have some issues in the Cup Series with being able to finish a road course race, but we know he's one of the best road course racers in the entire series. Had multiple wins in the Xfinity Series at them, and he has had back-to-back top 10 finishes at them so far this year. So I think no matter where he starts, it's going to matter for me. I'm going to have interest in Cindric either way, especially at this mid-8K price point. It's going to be pretty easy to fit him in. But if he offers any type of place differential this weekend, you can chalk him up as being a very popular play and definitely a good play in cash games this weekend. But as far as average game flag speed is concerned, he's been near the top of the chart so far at the 2 road course races that we've been at so far this year. Very similar to Ryan Blaney. He's put up some very similar finishes to Austin Cindric this year. So loving him this weekend. A little bit tougher to get to him on FanDuel, but on DraftKings, he's a pretty easy plug and play at that price point. Before we get into our next pick, I want to talk about our sponsor, Prize Picks. They offer daily prop-based contests You can use promo code OSMO for a $100 first match deposit bonus. There's no sharks, optimizers, or mass entries, and 5-player lineups can add to 10 times your entry fee. Use your knowledge of multiple sports with cross-sport entries. You can download in the App Store, on Google Play, or over on prizepicks.com. You can use our free player prop tools to help you make the best selections. And you can get 1 free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit over at PrizePicks. You'll receive your email within 24 to 48 hours after redeeming your free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum. And moving on to number 2, we have to mention him every single time at a road course, but it's the Dinger, AJ Allmendinger, $9,100 on DraftKings, up to $11,000 over on FanDuel. The past 3 races at road courses have not been there for AJ Allmendinger. He's gotten actually very, very unlucky. 19th at Sonoma, which was the race that we had a couple weeks ago. But you got to keep in mind, he lost power steering during this race, which is nearly impossible to compete when you lose power steering at a road course with the amount of turning you have to do and all that. But he still was contending for a top 10, and then the last lap of the race ended up getting turned and barely got a top 20 finish. And at COTA earlier in the season, he could have won that race. He was running first, and he was around the top 3, and he got right in between Bowman and Chastain playing bumper cars, led to a 33rd place finish, even though he should have been top 3, maybe even potentially winning the race. Then he finished 38th at the Charlotte Roval last year. So it's been a string of bad luck for AJ Allmendinger. Won the Indy road course race last year, but he's got top 5 upside any single time he's at a road course, and I'm hoping the bad finishes recently will keep some people off of him. But as long as he doesn't have any mechanical issues or gets wrecked, we should see AJ Allmendinger competing for a top 5, top 10. And if he offers you any price differential upside, you can be sure to look at him in cash games for sure. And finally, my number 1 DFS play for the Kwik Trip 250 at Road America. It's got to be no other than Ross Chastain at $10,300, $13,000 over on FanDuel. The 3rd best odds to win this race, only behind Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, understandably. But Chastain has been killing at the technical road courses. When at COTA earlier in the season, is averaging the best average game flag speed of the 2 road course races that we've been at so far this year. And like I mentioned with Suarez early on, Trackhouse seems to have the speed at road courses, so I'm not willing to bet against Ross Chastain here. Of all drivers at technical road courses the past couple of seasons, he's averaging the 2nd most DraftKings points per race, the 2nd best average finish, and the 3rd best average running position, only behind Chase Elliott in most categories, which is pretty good company to be in, considering Chase Elliott is probably going to go down as the best road course racer of all time. So I'd have a very hard time seeing Chastain not compete for the win here. I think he has the potential to be the top lap leader in this race as long as he finishes well. And then we'll give him a slight boost, because really any amount of dominant points in a very short race as far as laps are concerned would definitely give you a little bit of an edge there. So no matter where Chastain starts, unless he's on the pole, I'll definitely have to have some drawback there, because there's a little room for error for the pole sitter at a road course race. But if he's anywhere within like 3rd on back, I would definitely have interest in Chastain, playing him as a potential race winner this weekend. So just to recap, at number 5, we have Chris Buescher, number 4, Daniel Suarez, number 3, Austin Cindric, number 2, AJ Allmendinger, number 1, Ross Chastain. All these drivers have either been very fast at road courses this year, have great road course experience or track history, and they've just been dominant so far this season. If you did end up enjoying today's free content, all we ask in return is if you can leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, and leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree with any of the takes I had throughout today's video. You can follow us on Sunday for the Live Before Lock show. We'll break down the entire slate post-qualifying and practice so we can get the best information possible to you, and we'll answer any questions you may end up having. So with that being said, wish you all the best of luck on the 3rd road course race this year. I'm looking forward to it, and also an early happy 4th of July.